There are things we only come to understand after traveling a long stretch of the road. When the hair turns silver, when the steps grow slower, when the heart no longer rushes. That's when we are given a chance to truly look within, to pause, and ask a simple question we may have never asked deeply enough. How am I really living? Aging doesn't come like a sudden wind. It arrives slowly, quietly. It doesn't take everything away, but it does rearrange what once felt certain. What once seemed normal now needs to be seen with fresh eyes. And the small daily habits we never thought much about could now be silently draining away our strength. The truth is, life after 60 is not frightening because of aging itself, but because of the unnoticed habits that gently, day by day, wear down the body without us realizing it. This message is not meant to scare. It is not meant to worry. It is a whisper, a gentle invitation. Look again at the small things so you can preserve what truly matters. If you are in your later years, or you love someone who is, I invite you to walk gently with me through this reflection. A journey not meant to blame the past, but to choose a better path forward. Because as long as we still have days left, we still have the power to live better, to feel more joy, and to care for ourselves in deeper ways. So take a seat, pour a warm cup of tea, and let us begin. 7 daily habits after 60 that may be quietly weakening your health. If you're ready to discover the wisdom that only time can teach, subscribe and join us on this meaningful path. Skipping breakfast or eating inadequate meals. There's something tender about the early morning hours, the soft light spilling through the window, the quiet hum of a new day beginning. For many who have crossed the age of 60, this time of day is a gentle companion. No rush to catch a bus, no hurried goodbye, no children to prepare for school. The house is quiet now, and so often is the appetite. And yet, within this calm, a subtle danger can take root. The disappearing hunger with age, our sense of hunger begins to dull. The stomach doesn't growl as loudly. The craving for strong flavors wanes. What once was a cheerful morning ritual, toast, eggs, a pot of tea, laughter with family, becomes a solitary cup of coffee, or worse, nothing at all. But the body, though quieter in its demands, still whispers its needs. Muscle mass begins to decline more rapidly after the age of 60. Bones lose density. The immune system, once robust, becomes more fragile. To maintain strength, clarity, and resilience, the body requires nourishment, not just calories, but quality. Protein for the muscles, calcium and vitamin D for the bones, fiber for digestion, healthy fats for the brain. And most importantly, consistency. When breakfast is skipped, it sets off a cascade. Blood sugar levels drop, energy dips, concentration falters, irritability rises. And if medications are taken on an empty stomach, as many older adults must do each morning, nausea, dizziness, and even fainting can occur. Loneliness at the table beyond biology, there is also the quiet ache of the heart. Many older adults skip meals not because they're not hungry, but because they are alone. The empty seat at the table where a spouse once sat, the echo of laughter that used to fill the kitchen. In such silence, food can lose its meaning. But we must remember, eating is not just survival, it is connection with ourselves, with the rhythm of life, and sometimes with the memory of those we love. Even a small act of care, setting the table, playing soft music, calling a friend, during breakfast, can turn a solitary meal into a sacred ritual. And if cooking feels like a burden, preparing something simple yet nourishing is enough. A bowl of porridge with cinnamon, whole grain toast with nut butter, a soft boiled egg with warm tea. The first act of self-compassion each morning offers a choice to rush past the body's needs or to pause and listen. Eating a proper breakfast, especially after 60, is not a chore. It is the first act of self-compassion for the day. It says, I still matter. My body still deserves care. My life is still worth nourishing. For caregivers and family members, this small detail, whether a parent or grandparent has eaten properly, can make the difference between a day of strength or a day of strain. And for older adults themselves, Reclaiming the morning meal can be a quiet revolution, a return to presence, to energy, to vitality. When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. Marcus. Aurelius, so let breakfast not be a forgotten ritual. Let it be a gentle awakening of the body, of memory, of purpose. Sitting for long hours without moving, there is a kind of stillness that nourishes, the calm of early dawn, the pause of a deep breath, the restfulness of a quiet afternoon. But there is another kind of stillness that does the opposite, the kind that slowly erodes the body's vitality, the kind that settles deep into the bones like dust left too long undisturbed. This is the stillness of sitting for hours. In the lives of many older adults, especially after retirement, movement gradually fades. The once purposeful steps, to work, to the market, to greet neighbors, become fewer. The armchair by the window, the couch near the television, the kitchen stool, these become the day's familiar places. Sitting turns into a way of life. But the body was never designed for this kind of stillness. When movement stops, so does circulation. Our muscles are more than just tools for lifting or walking. They are a living part of the body's internal engine. With each step, the leg muscles help pump blood back toward the heart. With each stretch, the joints are lubricated. The spine is gently realigned. The balance between strength and stability is maintained. But when sitting becomes the dominant posture of the day, blood circulation slows. The muscles begin to atrophy. The lower back grows tight. Posture slumps forward, compressing the lungs and affecting breathing. The risk of clots in the legs, known as deep vein thrombosis, increases. And more invisibly, the body's metabolism slows, blood sugar regulation becomes poorer, and the immune system grows less responsive. What's more, long hours of sitting can lead to mental fatigue and emotional dullness. The mind mirrors the body. When we stay still for too long, both become sluggish. A body at rest will remain at rest, unless acted upon by an outside force. Newton's first law, reminding us that inertia applies to life too. The gentle art of micro-movements. Many elders worry that exercise must mean lifting weights or doing strenuous routines. But movement, especially in later life, is not about intensity. It is about consistency. Getting up every 30-45 minutes for a few minutes of walking around the house, doing slow stretches by the wall, rotating the ankles while sitting, opening and closing the hands to keep joints supple, standing near a window and reaching toward the sky with both arms. These are not just movements. They are messages to the body that life is still flowing, still moving, still full of energy. And whenever possible, incorporating functional movement into daily life makes it even easier. Watering plants, folding, laundry while standing, taking a gentle walk to the gate and back. Each step is a silent vote for health, movement as memory. There is also something deeply human in movement. Our memories live in motion. The sway of a dance once shared with a partner, the rhythm of walking side by side with a friend, the strength of holding a grandchild. To stop moving is, in a way, to let some of that memory fade. But even if the knees are weaker now, even if balance is not what it used to be, movement, in any forms, is still possible. It is still meaningful. Even a slow walk around the living room can whisper to the body, "You're still here. You still matter." Those who think they have no time for exercise will sooner or later have to find time for illness. Edward Stanley. So let us rise, gently, slowly, safely. Let us give our bodies what they are quietly yearning for. Movement, not for appearance, not for performance, but for presence, to feel alive again. Doisitsiwa, neglecting hydration. Throughout the day, there is a quiet thirst that many older adults carry without knowing. It is not the kind that parches the lips or makes one crave a tall glass of cold water. It is subtler, a mild fatigue that lingers, a lightheadedness mistaken for age, a dryness in the skin or stiffness in the joints that quietly grows with the days. And behind it all, there is often a simple, gentle cause: dehydration. After the age of 60, the body undergoes a quiet shift. The sensation of thirst, the natural signal that once reminded us to drink, becomes dull. The kidneys too become less efficient in conserving water. The body begins to lose moisture more easily, and yet asks for it less urgently. This mismatch leads many older adults to drink far less water than their bodies actually need. And yet, water is not optional, it is foundational. The role of water in the aging body. Every system in the body depends on hydration. Water cushions the joints, regulates body temperature, aids digestion, helps transport nutrients and flushes out waste. It keeps the skin supple, the mind alert, and the blood flowing freely. Even mild dehydration can cause fatigue or low energy, dizziness or imbalance, which increases fall risk. Constipation, confusion or forgetfulness, headaches, dry skin and poor wound. Healing, and in more serious cases, dehydration can lead to urinary tract infections, kidney issues, and hospitalization. Yet because the signs are often mistaken for just getting older, the root cause is often missed. Thousands have lived without love, not one without water. W.H. Auden. Why many elders don't drink enough. There are quiet everyday reasons why hydration is overlooked. Fear of frequent urination, especially at night, mobility issues that make walking to the kitchen or bathroom difficult, medications that act as diuretics or alter water balance, taste changes where plain water no longer feels appealing, forgetfulness, especially among those living alone. None of these reasons are from negligence. They are human, they are understandable, but they are also solvable with gentle adjustments. How to build a gentle hydration habit. Hydration in later life isn't about drinking gallons of water all at once. It's about steady, mindful sipping. Some thoughtful practices include keeping a small, easy-to-grip bottle nearby at all times, flavoring water with slices of lemon, cucumber, or mint, drinking warm herbal teas throughout the day, using reminder notes or gentle phone alerts, pairing hydration with daily activities, e.g. a glass of water after brushing teeth or taking medicine, eating water-rich foods, soups, stews, watermelon, cucumber, oranges, zucchini, even soups, beloved in many cultures as comforting and nourishing, are a powerful way to hydrate, while also providing warmth and nutrition. And for those who feel cold and avoid drinking water, warm water or room temperature liquids can be a soothing compromise. Hydration as a quiet act of care. To drink water is to remember, I am still caring for this body, this vessel that carries me through the years. Even the act of sipping can become a ritual of mindfulness, a pause in the day to reconnect with the present moment, to feel the water touch the throat and know, even silently, I am still here. I am still nurturing myself. Water flows gently, persistently, and so must our Care but Anonymous. Let each glass be a gift, not just to quench thirst, but to restore balance, to awaken the mind, to soften the wear of years. Over-relying on medications. Without review, there is a quiet drawer in many older adults' homes. Inside, there may be a neatly lined row of pill bottles, or perhaps an old plastic box divided by days of the week. Some medications have been taken for years, others more recently added. A few may be forgotten entirely, their labels faded, their purpose unclear. Yet each day, often without fail, the routine continues. Open, swallow, move on. In a world where medicine can offer relief and hope, there is comfort in pills. They ease the pain, control the pressure, steady the rhythm of the heart. But over time, the reliance can become unconscious and sometimes unquestioned, and therein lies the hidden danger. The problem with polypharmacy. As people age, it's not uncommon to have multiple health conditions: high blood pressure, diabetes, arthritis, insomnia, depression. For each, a doctor may prescribe a medication, and for each side effect that arises, another medication may be added to manage it. This practice, known as polypharmacy, can quickly grow from necessary to risky. Some older adults take 5, 10, even 15 pills a day, not counting supplements or over-the-counter remedies. The body, especially after 60, becomes more sensitive. Kidneys process drugs more slowly. The liver becomes less efficient. The brain too can react more strongly to medications, especially sedatives or drugs that affect memory. Suddenly, what was meant to help can begin to harm. Side effects may include dizziness or false confusion or memory loss, constipation, fatigue, loss of appetite, dangerous drug interactions. And tragically, many of these symptoms are mistaken for old age, when in truth, they are preventable. Sometimes more medicine does not mean more healing, only more burden. A quiet truth worth remembering. The missing step. Regular review, one of the most overlooked acts of health after 60, is a comprehensive medication review. Yet this single act can restore clarity, improve energy, and prevent serious complications. It's C. Can be as simple as sitting down with a doctor or pharmacist every 6 to 12 months and asking, why am I still on this medication? Can any of these be reduced or stopped safely? Are there lifestyle changes that could replace a drug? Are any of these interacting with each other? What side effects should I watch for? This is not a rejection of modern medicine. It is a wiser use of it. It is a recognition that the body changes with time, and so too must its treatment. Gentle alternatives and support. In many cases, non-drug approaches can support or even replace certain medications. Gentle movement and nutrition can help manage blood pressure or blood sugar. Mindfulness, music and meaningful social connection can ease anxiety or sleep difficulties. Physical therapy can reduce reliance on painkillers. Herbal remedies, when properly supervised, can offer support without the heavy toll of side effects. Of course, some medications are essential, life-saving even, but the key is intentionality. Each pill should serve a clear purpose. Each dose should be re-evaluated as time passes. The art of medicine consists of amusing the patient while nature cures the disease. Voltaire, while not entirely true today, the quote reminds us, healing is not just what we take in pill form. It is how we live, move, rest, and care for ourselves. Medication as partnership, not dependency. There is a powerful difference between using medication consciously and using it automatically. One is a form of empowerment, the other quiet surrender. Older adults have the right and the need to understand what they take, why they take it, and whether it's still necessary. Family members and caregivers too can gently assist in this process, helping organize pills, asking thoughtful questions, and attending doctor visits, because the goal is not simply to take medicine, but to live well. It is not the number of pills, but the peace within that marks true health. 5. Isolating socially and emotionally. There is a kind of silence that heals, the gentle hush of an early morning, the soft quiet of reading beside a window, the peaceful calm after prayer or meditation. But there is also another silence, a heavier one, the silence that lingers too long, the silence that is not chosen but grown into, the silence that does not comfort but consumes. This is the silence of isolation. For many people over 60, life begins to shift in quiet, sometimes in visible ways. Children grow up and move far away, friends pass on. The once familiar workplace becomes a memory. Days stretch longer, conversations become fewer, and without meaning to, many elders begin to withdraw. First from events, then from calls, then from the world itself. But humans were never meant to live in emotional solitude. The world is too quiet without you nearby. Lemony Snicket. This isn't about always needing company. Solitude can be nourishing. But chronic social isolation is different. It wears away at both the mind and the body, often without making a sound. What isolation does to the body and mind research has shown that loneliness is as damaging to health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It increases the risk of heart disease and high blood pressure, weakened immune function, depression and anxiety, cognitive decline, and dementia-shortened lifespan, and yet its symptoms are often hidden. A person may still smile, may still say, "I'm fine," but inside the weight of silence can be crushing. Loneliness is not always being alone. It is feeling alone, even in a crowd, even in a family. Why isolation grows with age, loss of mobility or transportation means fewer outings. Hearing difficulties can make conversations tiring or embarrassing. Grief, from losing a spouse, siblings, or old friends, creates emotional, whilst retirement removes the daily rhythm of interaction. Fear of being a burden causes many elders to retreat quietly. Technology gaps may widen the distance with younger generations. It is not a failing. It is a natural drift, but one that needs gentle interruption. Reconnection begins with small steps. Rebuilding connection doesn't require grand gestures. It begins with the ordinary, calling an old friend, even just for 5 minutes, joining. A local walking group, reading circle or senior class, inviting a neighbor for tea, volunteering once a week at a library, hospital, or community garden, asking grandchildren to teach how to use a phone app, or write an email, attending faith services, or community events. Even occasionally, each small act breaks the pattern. Each connection becomes a thread, and threads over time become a net that gently holds the spirit again. Emotional isolation matters. Too, even with people nearby, emotional distance can still grow. That's why emotional openness, sharing, worries, joys, memories is just as important. Journaling, speaking to a trusted friend or counselor, participating in support groups, telling stories from youth, laughing, crying, feeling again. These are not luxuries, they are emotional vitamins. The opposite of loneliness is not company, it is belonging. Brené Brown. Belonging begins when we are seen, heard, and valued, not for what we do, but simply for who we are. We heal in the presence of each other, for family members and caregivers. Sometimes the most powerful medicine is not a pill, but a hand held, a meal shared, a chair pulled closer, a question asked gently. How are you really feeling today? To the elder reading this, your voice still matters, your presence is still needed. And while the world may feel faster and louder than it once was, there is a space in it that only you can fill. Sound with your stories, your spirit, your steady light. Let us not let the silence take root. Let us return even slowly to one another. Poor sleep habits and irregular sleep cycles. There is a sacred stillness that comes with nightfall. For the older soul, it can be a time of deep reflection or restless turning. The room is dark. The world has quieted, and yet the mind, instead of slowing down, stirs with thoughts, aches, memories, or worries. The body lies in bed, but sleep lingers far away, like a bird that no longer visits the same branch. Sleep changes with age. This is a truth both natural and often misunderstood. But when those changes go unmanaged, they slowly erode the foundations of well-being. Sleep is the golden chain that ties health and our bodies together. Thomas Deckerand. When that chain frays, many other parts begin to unravel too. How? Sleep evolves after 60. Aging brings subtle but real changes in how we sleep. Lighter sleep. Less time is spent in deep, restorative stages, frequent awakenings. Due to bladder activity, pain, or anxiety, earlier sleep and wake times, a shift in circadian rhythm, often known as advanced sleep phase. Daytime drowsiness. A sign the nighttime rest wasn't sufficient. Difficulty. Falling asleep or returning to sleep after waking. Some of this is natural, but when left unaddressed, especially when paired with poor habits, it can lead to chronic sleep deprivation, which quietly harms both mind and body. Why poor sleep is more dangerous than it appears. Many believe that as we age, needing less, sleep is normal. But that is a myth. Most older adults still need 7 to 8 hours of good quality sleep per night. Poor sleep, especially when chronic, can increase the risk of heart disease and stroke, weakened immunity, falls and accidents due to poor balance and focus, cognitive decline and memory issues, irritability, anxiety and depression, weight gain and blood sugar imbalance. It also affects daytime clarity and energy, making every task feel heavier, every step more uncertain. Common sleep sabotaging habits. Some habits that quietly disrupt sleep in older adults include napping too long during the day, which confuses the body's rhythm, irregular sleep schedules, sleeping and waking at different times each day, screen use late at night, Phones, TVs, or tablets disrupting melatonin production, heavy meals or caffeine too close to bedtime stimulant, or sedative medications taken at the wrong time, lack of exposure to daylight, especially in the morning. Even loneliness, grief, or anxiety, if left unspoken, can turn into restlessness at night. Restoring the rhythm, gentle sleep, practices, sleep, does not need to be forced. Like a child or a bird, it returns best when invited gently. Some simple practices can help restore the body's natural rhythm. Go to bed and wake up at the same time each day. Even on weekends, limit daytime naps to 20 to 30 minutes and not too. Late in the day, get natural sunlight in the morning to regulate the body clock. Avoid screens and bright lights 1-2 hours before bed. Create a bedtime ritual. Soft music, warm tea, gentle reading. Keep the bedroom cool, dark, and quiet. Use sleep aids sparingly and under supervision. Natural options like melatonin or valerian root can sometimes help. Talk about your worries before bed. Journaling, prayer, or conversation can lighten the emotional load. Above all, don't battle sleep. Soften around it. Let the body remember its own rhythm. Sleep is not a pause. It is a repair, a quiet rebuilding of the soul. Anonymous, when to seek help. If sleep continues to evade despite healthy habits, it's important to speak with a doctor. Conditions like sleep apnea, restless leg syndrome, or chronic insomnia may require more specific care. Many older adults suffer unnecessarily, not realizing their sleep issues are treatable. To rest well is to live well, not just longer, but clearer, lighter, more present. In a culture that values doing, sleep is the gentle reminder that being, resting, healing, surrendering to stillness is just as sacred. Let us honor that rhythm again. 7. Skipping purposeful physical movement. There is a stillness that nourishes. Sitting by the window with a cup of tea, watching light filter through leaves, hearing one's own breath. But when that stillness becomes a way of life, not a moment in it, the body begins to whisper, then warn, then wither. Movement is not just for the young. In truth, movement is the language of life, and the older the body becomes, the more it needs to speak it. Those who do not find time to move must one day find time to be ill. Ancient proverb, yet as people age, movement often becomes optional, or even avoided. A sore knee, a stiff back, a fear of falling. Slowly, routines shrink. The walk to the market becomes a delivery. The garden waits unattended. The stairs are avoided, and eventually even simple stretches feel far away. This is not laziness, it is hesitation, built from pain or fear, or the belief that rest is safer. But ironically, the more we rest, the more we rust. What happens when the body stops moving without regular, purposeful movement? The body quietly declines. Muscles weaken, reducing strength, and balance. Joints stiffen, making motion more painful over time. Bone density decreases, increasing fracture risk. Blood flow slows, affecting heart and brain health. Metabolism drops, contributing to weight gain or blood sugar issues. Mood dips due to decreased release of endorphins. Memory and focus dull, as physical activity fuels brain health. And even worse, the will to move begins to fade, creating a cycle that deepens every month. Movement doesn't mean exercise. It means living. Many older adults avoid exercise because they imagine gyms, sweat, heavy routines. But movement can be soft, gentle, woven into life like breath. Purposeful movement can look like walking in the garden or around the neighborhood, stretching slowly each morning before breakfast, dancing to favorite music in the kitchen, tai chi, or gentle yoga to balance body and mind. Water aerobics, kind to joints but powerful for the heart. Lifting light household objects to build strength. Cleaning, gardening, sweeping, all forms of movement. Standing up every hour for a few moments. If sitting for long, the key is not intensity but consistency. 5 minutes today, 7 tomorrow. A short walk, a longer stretch. The point is to honor motion, not conquer it. You don't stop moving because you grow old. You grow old because you stop moving. George Bernard Shaw. The mind moves with the body. What's rarely spoken is how deeply movement affects the mind. Elderly individuals who move regularly report less anxiety, more confidence, clearer thoughts, fewer emotional slumps, a greater sense of autonomy and dignity. Even slow movement improves blood flow to the brain, reduces inflammation and supports memory. It is not only a physical act, it is a cognitive renewal, safety and simplicity, making movement feel possible. Again, for those afraid of injury or already dealing with physical limitations, start small and safe. Use a chair for support when stretching, walk. In short loops indoors on bad weather days, join senior-friendly movement classes at community centers. Track progress gently with a small notebook or calendar. Celebrate effort, not performance. One step is better than none, and perhaps most important, move with joy. Don't just exercise, dance, play, wander, reach, breathe. Let movement be a gift, not a chore. A body in motion holds a spirit in motion. There's a wisdom in the bones, and movement keeps it alive. The legs don't just carry us, they ground us. The arms don't just lift, they reach out to life. Every stretch, every breath is a reminder, I am still here. I can still move, I still matter. Motion is lotion for the joints and the soul. Gentle wisdom from a physical therapist, so to the older reader, move as you can, gently, lovingly, bravely. And to the family member or caregiver, move with them, walk beside them, offer your presence, not pressure, because movement, like healing, happens best together. Closing reflection, the quiet power of choosing well. Even now, there is a certain hush that falls on the later chapters of life, a kind of peace perhaps, or a pause. Things move more slowly, the world grows quieter, and many begin to wonder, have I done enough? Have I cared for myself well? Is it too late to start again? To these quiet questions, let us offer not just answers but kindness. The truth is, aging is not a falling apart. It is a deepening. Yes, the body grows more delicate. Habits harden like old clay. Energy is not what it was. And yet, there is a strength that lives in the soul now. A wisdom earned not from speed, but from stillness. Not from ambition, but from endurance. And in that wisdom lies a powerful truth. It is never too late to tend to the garden within. Old Chinese saying. Throughout these 7 parts, we've seen how small, unnoticed habits, things done daily without much thought, can slowly dull the light of life. Skipping meals or eating poorly, avoiding water, sunlight and movement. Shrinking. Social circles and growing isolation, letting sleep become fragmented, rest become restless, ignoring the body's whispers until they turn into shouts. And yet, with each small change, with each gentle return to care, we begin to rebuild. Health in later life is not built from grand efforts, but from quiet daily choices. A glass of warm water in the morning, a stretch before sunrise, a plate filled with color, a friend called without reason, a walk even if slow, a bedtime kept like a promise, a moment of stillness and said just to breathe. These are not just routines, they are rituals of self-respect. They say that how we end things matters just as much as how we begin them. In truth, there is no end here. There is only the next morning and the chance to care for yourself more tenderly than yesterday. So if you are reading this, whether you are 60, 70, 80 or beyond, know this. You are not behind, you are not broken, you are becoming even now, especially. Now, there is more to feel, more to give, more to receive. The body may slow, but the heart has no expiration date. So begin again, softly, patiently, and remember, no matter how long the winter, spring always returns to the soul that welcomes it. Grace, gratitude, gentle hope. These are the companions that walk with you now. Let them lead you forward, not to a finish line, but to a deeper beginning, one quiet step at a time. You are still here, and that is more than enough. By now, perhaps each of us has quietly looked inward, not to judge or regret, but simply to realize, as long as a new morning still greets us, we still have time to love ourselves a little more, tend to the small habits, and begin again gently, like the first light of dawn. Growing older is not the end of the journey. It's the most serene chapter, where we are invited to live more deeply, understand more fully, and love ourselves more kindly. Though the body may slow and memories may soften, every small choice, from a glass of water to a good night's sleep, or simply walking under the morning sun, becomes a gentle affirmation of life. You still have so much to offer. And you are deeply worthy of receiving peace, vitality, and meaning in return. So start today, not to become someone new, but to gently return to yourself in the most radiant, restful version of who you already are. Thank you for spending your precious time reflecting with us here at Elderly Wisdom Archive. If you found this video helpful, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing it with your loved ones. A small story shared may be just what someone else needs to find hope again. We look forward to walking with you on the next journey, where every moment of aging is honored with understanding, calm, and connection. Wishing you health, peace, and a life lived fully, one gentle day at a time.